After the first day's shoot, I had a panic phone call here. Sid, we've got a problem. We've got a problem. What's the problem? Rover. It doesn't work. Why doesn't Rover work? Well, you know Port Merion? It's all long steps all over the place. And of course, the go-kart wouldn't go up and down the steps. So, in the actual place itself, the thing, good as it was no good. It just didn't function. It just didn't do the job. So I said, well, what do you want? So they said, well, somebody, this is the art department talking to me, somebody has had the idea up here of a bouncing ball that keeps bouncing and chasing people. Now, the police, the Metropolitan Police, at the Horse of the Year show, used one of these balls for the horses to play football with. I said, yes, I do know of that one, but I don't think it's big enough. I think, you know, what size? Oh, we're talking about a massive one. I said, well, I don't think that one's big enough, but I will obviously check it out. Well, I checked it out, and it wasn't big enough. It was only about 2'6", 3 foot. So I got back to them, and they said, well, have you got any ideas? I said, yes, I have. I said, because I've had this problem before, I had it for big beach balls before, that we couldn't get the size we wanted. I said, we used Met balloons. They're very thick rubber, and they work. Met balloons. Hang on. And they went on for a discussion. They came back to the phone. Send us up Met balloons. What size? All sizes. Send us up a selection, which of course I did. I only did. Contacted the people that, or somewhere in the Midlands that I dealt with on this. And I got all shapes, all, not shapes, they was all round, but all sizes of these Met balloons. And as you know, from then on, they developed into one of the big highlights of the series. In fact, you know, the Rover was almost as big a star as Pat was himself.
And then someone, I don't know who, came up with the idea of a meteorological balloon. And someone went off and brought back a box of them. Now the problem with the meteorological balloons was that if you filled them with helium, they took off rapidly. That was useless. If you filled them with air, they sat down. Someone then tried a mixture of water and air. They tried a mixture of air and helium. It was all kinds of things. There was one of the props spent days down below. There were caves at the end of the steps leading down to the Strand. And he was in there with mixed compressed air cylinders, helium cylinders, water things, trying them, and each one would be tried, and it was either too light, too heavy, but not quite right. The other problem then was, of course, that all these balloons had a neck by which you filled them with air or helium, whatever, and this thing looked bloody silly.
The balloon might blow either side of the carrier, hit a wall, a flint on the wall, bang, that's gone. And now the shout was, hurry up, we're waiting on balloons. Keep as many blown up as possible. Well, we were blowing up balloons at the rate of probably maybe 10 every 5 minutes, and losing 9 of them, and getting 1 to the set, because you couldn't control them. We were in a confined area that you could not keep the supply up without breaking some.
There were a number of other accidents. For example, when we had the helicopter down, we discovered, quite by accident, that over the water, the balloon could be made to bounce along the waves. The downdraft from the helicopter, we could actually film it. We had a very good pilot, and I was able to sit sideways, and he brought the aircraft along sideways with the balloon in front, and so apparently the balloon was going of its own volition.
Thankfully the balloons weren't used all of the time, but when they were used they created an awful lot of problems. And one particular day he said to me, when we were out in the middle of Port Merion, it's a great high building at the top. This building I gave the impression it was the inside of all the operations took place. And he said, I tell you what I want, he said. I want the balloon, he said, to take off from there and wander up to the top, menace the tower a bit, and then come down over here. I said, when do you want this? He said, any minute. Just like that. So, give it a couple of minutes, it was all Russian. They don't really give you time to do anything. So, I got a couple of balloons blown up with the helium, and with a double string on it. So that I gave a guy over there one end, and I kept an end here. Then we let the balloon go. He kept it in tow, and I kept it in tow, and the balloon eventually went up to the building. Came down the other side, I let it go to him, he pulled it back then. So in fact the balloon started here, went up there, and back down there, which was great. He said to me, "That is great," he said. "I have some other tricks like that for you to do later." I said, "Not too many, Pat. Not too many." I said, we don't have that many men," I said, "in the time." I said, "Besides, there's other things to be done here besides balloons going up and down."
Principal camera operator for the series was Jack Lowen, who, because of other commitments, was unable to join the prisoner crew here at Port Merion for almost 2 weeks, as he recalls.
So when I got there, it was all in full swing. So probably it all came as a bit more of a shock and a surprise to me than it did to the other members of the unit, the way it was being done, because obviously they sort of started to build it up from zero. But I mean, when I walked in, it was then all going on with the gaily coloured umbrellas and the Rover and all these rather weird things, which were completely out of the blue to me.
What can I say? The beach then, we had this problem on the beach and every place else with the balloons. They wanted the balloons to go from here, charge at somebody over there. I said to Jack, "It's a very, this is Jack Lone, the operator." I said, "Jack, it's a bit of a nuisance this. Isn't it possible?" I said, "We could do a reversal on the film of the camera." I said, "I'll put the balloon over there and pull it back, and then we'll reverse it and it'll go that way." It's great, it's a great idea, but he said, "We got to change the lenses in the camera every time to do that." I said, "Well, isn't it better to do it that way than have me trying to pull it and missing the actor all the time?" I said, "We're delaying time." "That's right," he said. So then, from that on, we've done a lot of reversal of the balloon. Instead of being pulled from here, it was pulled back. And that helped tremendously with the thing.
I mean, that was one of the ways of doing some of it, where it had to come and land on a particular spot. The easy answer was to start it on the particular spot and let it blow away and shoot it backwards. I don't think a great amount of it was done like that. Some of it might have been done by the second unit,